I'm saying, yeah. Oh, hey, what's going on, Inspirators? It's your boy, Tony D, TonyDoyleInspires.com, back with you once again. So happy you guys checked in today, Inspirators. Got something really special for you today. I know I say that every time, but I really believe you guys are going to like this. We're starting actually a new segment here. This segment we're going to call In Their Own Words. And it's going to be something where we take some prolific writer, songwriter, poet of some nature, and literally just let you hear what they had to say. I'm going to start with a short biography here, just so you know who we're talking about. But then, literally, I'm just going to quote verbatim some of their famous, infamous, and maybe even not so famous quotes. And as always, this is in an effort to inspire you to go down the rabbit hole, find some people that really resonate with you in whatever way, for whatever reason, and feel free to share those folks with you. If there's a certain person that you'd like me to cover on in this segment for a future date, please let me know here, either down below in the comments or over on our Facebook page of the same name, Inspirate NSPR8. You can find our group over there, and we're having a lively talk about all that. So if you haven't joined that already, please feel free to do that. We talk about all the different videos and the things that go on. And so today I'm going to introduce this segment with super prolific, and you're going to hear all about him, but he has influenced a whole lot of New Age philosophy, spiritual texts, really across the board. So we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Stuart Wilde today on Inspirate. So first and foremost, though, if you haven't already, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will ask you to hit the little bell symbol if you haven't already also. That is the symbol, and when you hit that and you make that active, it lets you know every time that we put out new content, and we are dedicated to putting out new content every single day. So over the course of a year, you will see 365 videos in this first year. And as you can see, we're just getting started. We're still introducing all kind of new things and topics. And like I said, over on the Facebook page, actually in the group, is where we come up with ideas for different topics and things to discuss. So feel free to go over to Facebook, ask to be a member of the group. I'll approve you, and we can get in some lively discussions there, and we'll cover some of the things that you guys want to hear about over here. We also do questions and answers over there and things like that. So that being said, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. As always, I ask you, if you love it, please share it out direct, post it to your page, in your stories, any social media platform that you may have at your disposal. So appreciate all of that for sure, as always. Once again, if you guys don't know me, I'm Tony Doyle from Tony Doyle Inspires, and this is the magnificent Inspirate channel, where we strive to bring you all things inspirational, motivational, and anything that will make you think. All right, so that being said, let's start our brand new topic today. Once again, this is In Their Own Words, and the writer that we'll be covering today is Stuart Wilde. Okay, some of you may know Stuart Wilde, and some of you may not. He's super interesting because even though he has influenced a majority of the writers and thinkers of our time, he is not as well known or credited as he should be, for sure. Stuart Wilde was actually born in 1946, and he actually just died not too long ago in 2013. So it's pretty interesting the time span that he lived, and depending on how much you've been into spirituality in the last 50 years, you may or may not know him. Stuart Wilde was actually a British writer. He's best known for his works on New Age, self-empowerment, and spirituality. He was also a lecturer, a teacher, a humorist, an essayist, a scriptwriter, a lyricist, and even a music producer. It's true, he appeared on several albums. I've got some of his albums. Some of them are, I might describe as esoteric speakings over the top of things, but he's done some actual really serious work and produced some really good things as well. He was the author of 20 amazing books, including the popular series The Tao's Quintet. You may know this from Dr. Dyer. He quotes this a lot, The Tao's Quintet, and Dr. Dyer is actually how I came to know of Stuart Wilde. The quintet include Miracles, The Force, Affirmations, and The Quickening are the 4 books of the Tao's Quintet. And of course, his manifesto, The Trick to Money and Having Some. Maybe most famous for that, especially from Gen Xers and people like that. Wilde actually studied alternative religions and Taoist philosophy in his early years in Great Britain. When he was 33, he migrated to the U.S., where he lived in Laguna Beach, California, for most of the rest of his days. And he, of course, wrote his first book, Miracles, at that point in his life. Shortly thereafter, he began a career as a lecturer as well, appearing mainly in New Thought churches and New Age conferences. But as he started publishing books, he started touring. He has inspired many with his irreverent New Age teachings, which fluently merge Eastern and Western philosophies together. He greatly influenced and toured with regularly the likes of my mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, Mike Dooley, and even spoke with the Dalai Lama at events across the world. Wilde's London street slang and comedic way of presenting self-empowerment and spiritual ideas continue to attract a wild and wide, diverse audience. He's been called ahead of his time, the teacher's teacher, and many other anecdotes like that. And I would say it's definitely true when you see who all he's influenced. But his influence on other writers and lecturers in the field, Dr. Dyer always told me he was one of the most provocative and poignant writers, and irreverently funny at the same time, which really makes his writing accessible and timeless, So he remains a recognized figure for progressive thought in metaphysics and the scientific field of human potential. And Wilde is often quoted with references to his work appearing across international, cultural, business, and educational forums, including, he's been quoted at the Kennedy Center Honors, I know for sure, which is Kennedy Center for the Arts. Interviews with platinum hip-hop artists, Jay-Z, KRS-One, who introduced me to metaphysics, just to name a few. He has influenced global writers and poets, quoted at international investment conferences, and even is credited for inspiring the work of Mr. Stephen Kotler in the Flow Genome Project, whom I have spoken to you here before. So Stuart Wilde is a prolific writer, like I said, over 20 books, appearing in over 27 languages and counting. He has a total of 95 unique titles, including his audiobooks, his music production, and all that. So just a short little biography. Certainly encourage you to get to know Mr. Stuart Wilde in his own words, and go check out his books and his music and all those things. If you can get on YouTube and find an actual recording of him, you will most likely really love his accent and the way he delivers things. And it will definitely influence the way you read his work later on once you hear how he does it. But that being said, this is about in their own words. And so, like I said, with no further ado, I am going to present Stuart Wilde from his actual quotes, so you can actually get a flavor and a taste of the things that he's been talking about and influencing others. And you'll definitely see the influence through some of the other people that you may follow, including Dr. Dyer and Mike Dooley and Deepak and all those folks. So let's start out here. Money making is not a serious business. It's a game. At first, it may seem that it's a game that you play with force outside of yourself, the economics of the marketplace, so to speak. But as you proceed, you discover that it's actually a game you play with yourself, within yourself. Stuart Wilde. Many people resent money because they feel it hasn't been fair to them, and they've worked so hard and haven't received as much as they should have, or that they are paid less than what other people with inferior qualities to them have been paid. However, harboring these negative emotions only widens the gap between yourself and money. Stuart Wilde. Life was never meant to be a struggle, just a gentle progression from one point to another, much like walking through a valley on a warm, sunny day. Stuart Wilde. To make money, you have to deliver your energy in some form to satisfy a demand that is out there. And if what you are selling is energy, charisma, and enthusiasm, there is no competition, because most others are selling things that are lifeless, loveless, and dull. Stuart Wilde. You guys getting this? Hope you guys find this interesting. As a person, you know me, I like memes and quotes and things like that, and this is so topical for me to get into the words of Stuart Wilde and just see how he's influenced really like everything that I study, all the rest of the New Age progressive movement, philosophies, of the 20th and 21st centuries, honestly, and even, other thought leaders in the space like Jason Silva. It's really amazing. It's awesome. And I definitely appreciate getting to know him from Dr. Dyer. A couple more quotes here I think you guys would be interested in hearing. Once again, just to get a flavor for the truths that Stuart Wilde was presenting, and really making a huge change in the way that we look at things by being able to present it so effortlessly and relatably. So, all right. So he also said this: it's hard to align to money if you think that it's evil and nasty. But once you come to an understanding that money is neutral, that abundance is natural and spiritual, it is easy to see that having money does not necessarily deprive somebody else. Many of the great teachers have given credence to the idea that abundance is spiritual, and that it is your feelings and the power of your thoughts that create abundance for you or deny it to you. Stuart Wilde. You have the divine abundance to you have the divine right to abundance. And if you are anything less than a millionaire, you haven't had your fair share yet. Stuart Wilde. The key to success is to raise your own energy. When you do, people will naturally be attracted to you. And when they show up, serve, serve, serve. Stuart Wilde. And I have actually many, many more pages, but I'm going to end with this one of my favorite. But I definitely invite you to check out more of his work. In this final quote, Stuart Wilde says, "Our life's journey of self-discovery is not a straight line rise from one level of consciousness to another. Instead, it's a series of steep climbs, flat plateaus, and further climbs. Even though we all approach the journey from different directions, certain of the journey's characteristics are common to us all." Mr. Stuart Wilde. Hopefully that just whets your interest a little bit. Like I said, I actually have pages and pages more of these things. I love Stuart Wilde, and I love seeing his influence on the other writers, poets, musicians of our time, and getting into great conversations like with Mr. Jason Silva about the influence of Stuart Wilde, and even Stephen Kotler when I was working at the Flow Genome Project with him, like just to see the influence, the wide array of what thoughts and ideas can do, inspires me personally, and I hope it inspires you too. So that's it for today. In Their Own Words, Volume 1. We have many, many more of these to come. So if this is something you like, please give me a thumbs up on this, and I'll be able to continue in the series. I'm just going to leaf through here and leave you with one more that I definitely wanted to include. Like I said, I do have pages here, but there is one quote. Here we go. So let me leave you with this one, because this is the quote that I actually was introduced to Stuart Wilde on. Dr. Dyer introduced me to this, and he told me how it informed his own work, and you can certainly see why. So Stephen Kotler, in his own words, Stuart Wilde, in his own words, goes a little something like this. "If you deny yourself access to the child within because you're too serious, you also block your connection with the divine light and your feminine self. Every creator, at least every creator who's any good, uses both their masculine and feminine sides to create. Whether a scientist working on a hunch, a painter working on the interplay of colors, or a musician dealing with the juxtaposition of notes and chords, it's all flow. The abundant flow of nature." Mr. Stuart Wilde. That being said, Inspirators, thanks once again for tuning in. I appreciate you guys tuning in every day. Stay tuned, because tomorrow we have another one, and hopefully this is inspiring to you. Go check out the work of Stuart Wilde. He is amazing, and like I said, let me know if there's somebody you want me to cover on this segment as well. I will certainly do that. And as always, I will leave you with this. If you are not inspired, you're simply not looking around and appreciating enough. We are surrounded with people, places, and things that are inspiring beyond measure. Okay? Learn to appreciate, look around, see what there is around. So until tomorrow, I'm going to leave you with that. And I will see you guys tomorrow on another great Inspirate segment. Stay tuned. We'll see what's coming up. Peace.